Okay, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to do another mountain painting today. And let's see what happens. We're going to start with our pink. We're going to start down in here. I'm using a 1-inch brush to spread it on. I like to place it in certain areas. And there is liquid white all over the canvas. And if you don't know what liquid white is, it just helps your paints blend together. Liquid white, liquid clear, it's the same thing. It makes your canvas slick. And that's called a wet on wet painting. Just in case you didn't know. As I said before, some people don't know. I just took it for granted people knew that, and I really shouldn't have done that. I should have known not everybody would know. I'm going to take a little phthalo blue and hope I got enough here, man. I thought I put enough on here, but I've used some already. It's all right. We got Prussian blue. Phthalo blue. I'm going to put some Prussian blue on this in a second and darken these corners real good. It's okay if this comes on over in the pink. I want it to. make it blend a little bit better. Now let's take some phthalo blue. Once you put your brush in phthalo blue, see how dark that is? I mean, it's really not good for anything but dark colors after that. But I like it pretty dark in the corners, and you should too. I mean, that's a good way to do it. Around the corners, down the edge, it draws people's eyes to the center of your painting. And that's really what you want. That's the purpose a lot of times of making corners dark and down the edges, to get people's eyes focused more on what you want them to see. Okay, let's find us a clean brush. If we can, a clean 2-inch brush. I'll set my palette down. Now we're going to do crisscross strokes. We're going to start in the pink. Make sure this thing's steady here. Start in the pink. Stay out of the blue for as long as you possibly can. Crisscross strokes. Okay, looks like we're going to have to start getting into some blue, and that's okay. You have to anyway. But see how this is blending? See, this is the effect I'm after right there. I want it blended. And as I said, it's okay to get some blue in here. Makes it look more natural. Yeah, I'm really up here in the dark stuff. And I'm wiping my brush off too for the excess paint, the excess blue that I'm picking up. See, this is a really simple, effective sky for a mountain painting. This is really nice. I mean, you want it kind of light behind your mountains so they stick out more. I'm going to have to tighten this thing up. My painting's sliding. Okay, let's stand back and take a look. Okay, I think that's probably all right. So now, let's go ahead and we are going to start on some mountains. This is Prussian blue black, some brown, and just a smidge of red. I just had some red left. I took some out of that, put it in this pile, added some white. That's what that is. I got my toppings here. This is just brown and white. And then, of course, you've seen my pink. So let's go ahead. I want to make a mountain sitting a little further back. And I'm probably going to make it right in here. It's a little lighter in color. It's not dark. Dark is for the close-up mountains. I got a little picture, believe it or not, today that I'm looking at. I usually have nothing to look at. Just scrape it off. And let's pull that out and see what happens. Keep your knife good and clean. I got my paper towels right here in front of me. Let me find me a brush. I usually dirty up every brush I have. And I guess I'm gonna do it again today. That's okay. If it's not dirty, you ain't using it, right? And we're just gonna blend this out. This is for a distant mountain. That looks pretty good. All right, let's go for the bigger mountain. Let's see. Okay, we're going to use the darker color because this mountain is closer than that mountain, and that's why you would do that. Let's start right in here. I think I want to come up. Kind of come over a little bit, run on up. You really just need to be concerned with the top, with the edge mainly. The top edge. Let's bring this on down. And I'm using my darker color. Let's put us a little bump right in here. And we'll bring that up like so. And that's probably going to be it. Let's put a little bit more of this dark paint in here. I definitely want it obvious that this mountain is darker than that one. Scrape it off. I think that's probably plenty. Scrape it off, wipe your knife off. Get our brush back we were using. Let's see how. Yeah, it's darker. Let's pull this one out. Pull this mountain collar out and see what we have here. You can wipe it off too on your paper towels if you want. You don't need all this extra paint. The less paint the better in most cases when it comes to oil painting. So yeah, I'm wiping it off as we're coming down here. Okay, it looks pretty good. All right, let's put some topping on it. For the further away mountain, I'm going to use the lighter color. This is brown and white, and that's brown and white. This is a little darker than that. So let's start here with this. And the thing about with these mountains, man, you got to practice all the time, and you can't do one and not do another one for a month. You got to practice these things. I mean, you really do. It's just like anything else in life. You gotta practice. And I am barely, literally, and I say it every time, I'm literally barely touching this. Because that's really all you need. If I press any harder, it's just not, this paint is not going to break, and that's what you call making your paint break. You see how this is kind of spackled, so to speak? That's how you do it. Let me pull this painting out just a little bit. Okay, now we're going to use our darker color for the front mountain. And I hope I made enough. I thought I did, but man, I run short all the time. I like to do these edges first because you kind of got to be more careful with them. So I like to do these edges first and get that over with. And I got my paper towels right in front of me. I'm wiping my knife off every time. Because I'm picking up paint from underneath. Just bring these together right here. And as I said, I'm literally barely touching it. And if you have trouble making your paint break, you don't have to use liquid white on it. I mean, that would solve a big part of your problem. And I've got plenty of videos where I don't use it. It's not a rule and you don't have to use it. People use it because it's fun to use. And if once you get used to it, it's cool, man. I mean, it really is. It's cool to use it. But until you get to the point you can make your paint break, if you're having problems, don't put liquid white down here. Put it in your sky, don't put it anywhere else. And your paint will break so much easier. I mean, you're still going to have to barely touch it, but it'll be easier than this. See, that looks fine to me right here. Okay, let's see what we can do now. Let's mix this up a collar. Let's just see what this looks like. This was my back mountain collar. Let's see if you can see. Yeah, I didn't have to do anything to it. It don't look like. I didn't have to add any white or anything. Where I pulled this paint out with my brush a minute ago, it lightened the collar, and I'm basically just putting the same collar back that I took away. We'll come back and touch this up here in a second. But for now, I think that's probably okay. Maybe it could use a little white. We'll adjust. We'll adjust. Okay, probably have to use my little knife there, but let's see what happens. See how this looks. This is, I might have to add some white to that. That's a little light, or a little dark. Let's see what let's practice right here. Well, it's a different color. Okay. It tells me already this has to be lightened up. So that's what we're going to do, lighten that up just a touch over here. Okay. Let's see what this dark color looks like over here. That's pretty dark. But I will put a little dark in this, I think. You just have to mix your paints till you get it the way you want it. I mean, that's really all there is to it. Let's see what that looks like. This don't look too bad. Just mix it till you feel like that's what you want. Play around with it until you get it the way you want it. That's all you can do is just try your best at everything you're doing. And that's it. Can't do no more than your best. And I'm going to darken this bottom part here. Let me switch knives real quick. I got two different size knives. I got a big knife and a little knife. And it helps for these little tight areas. want to add some dark color to this. This is what we were just putting on here. I want to darken it up down in this area. Because it's supposed to be coming towards you. It's supposed to be a little darker. A little closer to you. I'll say it that way. This is real dark here. We'll adjust things as we need to. Okay. Let me take a look here. This line here is too perfect. So we're going to make it unperfect. This line here is kind of neat looking. We don't want that. All right, let's find us a clean spot. And I just want to skim. Just like that. That's it. It's really all you want. You don't want to go crazy with it. And because mountains are high, right? The higher elevation, the colder. At least that's what they say, huh? I have not been up on a mountain quite like this myself, so. Just skim it down a little bit. Yeah, I do this all the time because I just like the way it looks. No other reason other than that. This is just pure white. Pure white's all this is. This brush here is, maybe I better get a clean one. I was trying not to use all my clean brushes because I'm not done painting today. I got more to paint. But, gotta do what you gotta do, right? Let's just soften this a little bit down in here. I'm gonna take some pure white and put in this. My painting is bouncing, as you can hear. Just soften it up. We ain't after perfection or nothing. We just want it just a little softer than what it is. I always like to get up in here. This brush might be too big to do that. I like to soften these areas. Because I think it looks nice when you do that. We'll adjust as we need to. We'll change things or add. Just do whatever you got to do to make it look good. I may have to put more here in a minute. Okay, that might be okay for now. Like I said, we'll adjust as we need to. All right. All right, let's go ahead and put our water in. Like I said, I have a slight picture here that I'm looking at. And I think I know about where I'm using this dirty brush, but I think it'll be okay. Let's see, let's put it somewhere down in here. Make sure I've got it covered. One of the little lighters, we're getting closer. We're getting higher. Let's throw some pink in. Let me get rid of this green. I was trying something out here a second ago. Don't want that on there. All right. Back to where we was. All I got to really do is make sure I've got enough water in here. I'm going to reuse the rest of my pink. Okay, let's make it a little darker here at the bottom. If I can get some dark color on my brush. There we go, that's darker. Okay, I think this might be enough. Looking at my picture there, I think I've got it covered. All right, let's take some, let me find my brush, my tree making background brush, my granddaughter's brush, my favorite brush. Let's start here. This is black and sap green. And this palette, or this easel's making a lot of noise today. I'm not sure why. Anyway, it does that. Can't win them all, can you? Yeah, let's just bring it on around. Start bringing it up a little bit to cover some of this. Black, sap green. Let's just bring this on over. I apologize for setting my palette down all the time, but I'm holding on to my easel. It's making a lot of noise, and I know I get in your way sometimes, and I apologize for that. I'm just trying to paint. Sometimes you gotta hang on. Let's bring this up a little bit right here. Let's bring this on up a little higher up in here. Black, sap green. Okay, now let's put some yellow on that just for highlights. All we're doing is highlight. Man, I hope this brush don't ever break. It's a real doozy. I really like it. I mean, I can't find another one like it. And it's not a special brush, it's just a piece of junk. But you know, sometimes you find brushes for certain things that really work well. Sometimes unexpectedly well. See, these trees are distant. They're supposed to be back a little bit. And that's why I'm just stomping it in. Some of these trees you may not even see. This is cad yellow light that I'm using. And I'm touching the right side of the trees preferably. Okay, let's go ahead and pull some reflections. I will use a clean brush this time because this is important. And you just determine where you want your reflections at. And I'm going to hold these paper towels and I'm going to continuously wipe it off. Just come all the way across. So you have yellow in your reflections here and that's what you want. Okay, see, this is what came off my brush. You want it clean. You want a clean brush. And then we're going to go side to side, continuously wiping. And that's probably good. Let's put a water line on here real fast, which is usually no big deal. Just take a little white. You can use white or any color. I mean, I could use this brown color if I wanted. But just for principle of demonstration, we're going to put some white. And you just follow along. There you go. There's your water line. Now let's put some land in. Find me a nice dirty brush, and that's not hard to find. I'm going to use this mountain color. I want it dark. And it's here, and there's no point in wasting it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this down probably like so. Bring another chunk of land down, probably like so. Fill all this in. Now what I want them after is two different pieces of land. One there and one there. That's what I'm trying to do. Whether it works out like that, I don't, who knows. But let's bring this piece of land on out through here. Bring it down. Maybe even a little further, right there maybe. Let's take us another piece of land. Bring it down to here. And another piece of land right here, just to cover up where we didn't put our water. As I said, I probably should have brought this water over a little more, but it's okay. Because you just adjust. I mean, that's really what you're trying to do. You have to adjust with your painting. If you didn't bring something over far enough, you just adjust. I mean, really, that's about it. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and start putting some grass in. I stuck my brush in something I shouldn't have. Let's go ahead and take some cad yellow light. And let's go ahead and start forming out where we want things. I did wipe this off, but you got to remember this is still real wet. So, I mean, it is what it is. This is a wet on wet painting. So, let's go ahead. I think I want another piece, and I'm using the yellow here to form this out. Another piece of land right in here. And of course, we're going to have some land right here. I'm using this yellow first because I want to use the same, I don't want to keep dirtying brushes. I'm going to use the cad yellow light first, and I'll switch to yellow ochre, then green. Let's put some cad yellow light down here. And it's mainly going to be on the top area. Let's take some yellow ochre. Let's start throwing in some ochre. I'm going to make this a little bank right here. This isn't going to be grass all the way down. I think them banks look pretty good. This one can either be a bank or not. It don't matter to me. If I think it needs to have some dirt right there, I'll put dirt. Okay, let's put some ochre in here. Get some more. I'm trying to stay out of the camera's way. I've noticed that when I stand in front of the camera, it blurs the what I'm doing because it's catching me standing here more than it's catching the painting. So I'm trying to stay out of the way. How about some sap green now? See, this is a muddy mess right here, but that's okay. It's expected. Let me wipe this brush off a little. It's expected, not surprising. I think I need to switch to Prussian blue real quick. So I'm gonna put some Prussian blue right here. This is all gonna mix up anyway. Like I said, this is going, I'm going to have banks right here, I think. So I'm not too worried about how this looks yet. And we're just keeping it going here, making it look like, trying to make it look like real grass best we can. We'll probably have to go over this again. And that's okay. I mean, that's just part of it. That's what you got to do. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead, work on this grass, get it looking a little bit better. Put my my dirt down in here, and then I'll be back. Okay, it's pine tree making time. Let's get ready to make us some pine trees here. I think my brush is okay. I have trouble with fan brushes because they're not, I don't have the best fan brushes anymore. I'll wear them down. But let's take some black, some sap green. And we definitely know we probably need one right here for sure. We can kind of just look at that and see that. So let's put one here. It's kind of a muddy mess there, but that's, I mean, that's all we can do. We just have to work with it. Let's put a couple more. Let's put one, let's say right here. Actually, I'll put one right there on that dark spot. Put one on that dark spot right there. I may have to wipe these trees off and hit it again because I don't like how that looks. It's too muddy looking. Let's do one more on this side. Oh, let's take one and kind of angle it a little bit. You could always wait till the next day and put this stuff in, which is really better. I just get impatient. I mean, I like to get things done. I don't like to wait around, but that's the price you pay if you don't want to wait around. Let's take one. Oh gosh, let's see here. Let's put one here. I could bring that all the way down, but I'm not sure I want to. Yeah, I might bring that one all the way down. Okay, let me just form these out first real quick. Probably one here. It's probably going to stay there. I definitely want one here. I want a leaner right here. I want a leaner there. And we'll put another one right in between this. 4. I think that'll work. Put 4 right there. Yeah, I think that'll probably be okay. Maybe I'll put another one here. I don't know. We're just feeling things out. Just feeling things out. And I am definitely going to have to wipe this before I put that. There's no point in putting that tree in there. I can plainly see that needs wiped. I'll put another one right here. Crowd them up a little bit. Okay, let me wipe this down and I'll be back. I'm probably going to have to wipe all these down and I'll be back. Okay, let's start putting some highlights on these trees. I've done these 3 over here. And this is really wet, of course, but we're gonna try our best to put some highlights on these pine trees right here. And I'm trying to stay out of the way so I don't blur the camera. It's just kind of hard to sometimes. This is just pure cad yellow light, and I'm touching the right side of the trees because the sun should be coming down this way. And we're trying to get it to stick on here. You have to continuously wipe your brush off, and that's fine. No biggie. Let's do this one right here. Okay. Let's keep on going. Let's give this one a hit. We're just doing the best we can with this wet painting we got going on here. I may have to get me some more cad yellow light. Looks like I'm running pretty low. It's something I should have thought of, right? But I didn't. And I'm just going to keep using it till we're out. Which ain't too far away. I may have enough for this tree. I don't know. Like I said, this is really, really wet. I know I'm repeating myself, but maybe I'm talking to myself. Maybe that's what I'm doing. Reminding myself, this is really wet. But we're almost done. If I can just come down a little further. Okay, I'm back. I want to show you what I'm doing because this is important. This painting is really wet, as I said. I'm going to put a rock here, rock here, rock here, bush, 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 bush. And these look like this because I took and wiped it off. If you want it to stick, that's pretty much what you're going to probably have to do. And this is how, and that's how I do it a lot of times. I mean, you have to just wipe it off. But these are rocks. See, it'll go down. It's still soaking wet, but not nearly as bad. Not nearly as bad. Still wet, just not nearly as bad. And this is going to be a rock. And you know, you may even have to wipe it off again after I put this brown on here. But that's, you know, that's okay. Excessive oil is not your friend in oil paint. I mean, it's really not. And it's really hard not to have excessive oil. You have to, on wet, it's practically impossible. But, and I don't always do wet on wets. But that's why I like to do my paintings dry a lot of times with nothing on it. It's simply because it's just so hard to deal with. You get a lot of paint on here and man, it gives you a fit. It will really give you a fit. Let me go ahead, I'm gonna make these bushes black for now. And I'm gonna do that while you're watching. I got a pretty big brush here for this, but I'm just gonna try to hit those spots that I took color away at, where I wiped away. This brush is a little bit big for this. Okay, we want one there. I'm gonna make these magenta. That's the color I'm gonna make these bushes. One there. I want this one to be a little bigger. One more. And then I'm going to do these rocks off camera just to save time. Okay, we are starting to put the magenta on these bushes. And we're doing the best we can because these are soaking wet. I'm probably going to take some white and touch it with some white afterwards. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. Even though this is showing up, it's, I mean, it looks okay, I guess. Yeah, see, now that spot looked okay. Sometimes I actually blot the bushes. I just didn't want to because I'm lazy, I guess. Don't tell nobody. I think that's why though. Yeah, that's not too bad. Let me take a touch of white. Don't want to overdo it. But let's just see if we can make it stand out just a little more. See, that's not too bad. Let's try a little bit here. Yeah, it's not bad. But you know, the more you touch it, the worse it gets as far as being wet. Not too bad. One more. All right, folks, it looks like a wrap. I like it. I think it turned out pretty good. Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe for more future videos. And thanks for watching.